Welcome to today's Wednesday webinar. It's the 5th Wednesday of the month and therefore the Blue Moon Special. And no, I no longer use the logo for the beer. Go figure. Didn't know there was such a thing. I don't know about all these grown-up things, treasure chests and beer and whatever. Yeah, miss out. But in the room with us today, we have, wait for it, we have Courtney Smart and Rebecca Minoski. See, you post your picture anywhere on the internet, I will find it.
That was sneaky. That's sneaky. We were not aware that our photos were going to be on there.
They're
fabulous. Found some nice ones.
Well, they were the ones posted on your chatter feed.
There you go.
So, and I have a stealing tool. So they're going to talk to us about the brand spanking new marketing toolkit for Girl Scout volunteers. And let's see, why marketing? I looked this up just to be sure I said the right thing, because it's going to increase our awareness, increase our communication, increase a sense of involvement, increase satisfaction, pride, and loyalty, and it's more than just advertising. So, are you ready? I'm going to pass it right over to Courtney and to Rebecca and try to stay out of their way. Go ahead, Courtney. What do you? I think you're kicking it off, aren't you?
I am indeed. Thank you so much, Dawn. Thank you for letting us come today and be a part of the Blue Moon Special. We've been hearing from folks over time that need a little guidance on how to do flyers, maybe a little marketing support, and so Rebecca and I worked together and put up this marketing toolkit for Girl Scout volunteers. And right now it includes some helpful tips. We hope they're helpful to create how to create flyers easily, simply some information on some branding, some interesting things you may not know about branding. So we'll just dive right into it. Basically, we want your events and activities to be successful, and part of that success is to actually get people to attend, and that involves promotion of your events. So basically, when we're talking about this, it's kind of thinking about event, and so that kind of language, but this can be applied to any sort of promotion that you're trying to do in terms of design, flyers, things like that. So I'm going to dive right in, and basically, we're going to start right off with branding. Now, as you well know, I would think that Girl Scout branding is extremely important, as it is with any organization or company. We have a very specific way we can use logos and graphics and colors and all that sort of thing. I get a lot of questions, I get a lot of requests to use the Girl Scouts of Maine service mark or logo, and unfortunately that is just to be used for official council usage only. It is a trademarked piece. So on the screen you see that on the right hand side is the Girl Scout Maine service mark and logo. That is for official use only. So only official people can use it. But what we do want to allow our folks to have some mark to really mark their Girl Scout piece. So we are allowing our volunteers to use the trefoil. We do have
I've got skills.
That's pretty impressive, Dawn. So we do have the ability to let you, as Girl Scout volunteers, use the trefoil for your Girl Scout activity, promotion, flyer, whatever it is. And all you have to do is just email customer care in order to get that, and we'll be happy to send that to you. There are some restrictions in terms of using it. There's some guidelines that we laid out in the marketing toolkit, but the sum up is the trefoil cannot be changed in any way. It has to stay exactly as you see it. It can be small, it can be large, but when you resize the trefoil, you've got to be careful that you're not scaling it to the point where it gets, twisted or scrunched wrong, or I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. But basically, you don't want to distort it. Thank you. The communications person can't think of the word. You don't want to distort it in any way. And we also find that you cannot put text over it at this time. So you have to use the trefoil as you see it on the screen. We do have it on the screen as green, but you can also use it in white on a green background. So you'd have a little tiny bit of flexibility, but it's very, very limited. But it still will help you, showcase your Girl Scout event as a Girl Scout event, and it's very recognizable, so that's helpful there. So you get that trefoil by emailing customercare@gsmaine.org. We're looking to, in the future, allow Girl Scout volunteers to use the official Girl Scout font. It's called trefoil. You'll see it's actually on the screen. You'll see that it's being used in this document is in trefoil. There's various weights and things like that of trefoil font, but eventually we would like to open that up for volunteer usage for Girl Scout events only. We still have to work out a few bugs and make sure that we're doing everything right, because it is a licensed font for Girl Scout use only. So you can probably look forward to that in the future. But for right now, we do ask that if you're going to do something with fonts, Arial is our other official font aside from trefoil. And if you're going to use, say for a design of a flyer, decorative font, use it sparingly and make sure that it complements it well. Otherwise, it might look a little bit crazy and wonky. So you got to be careful about that. But Rebecca will talk a little bit later about actual designing and some tips she has for you. One of the things that you can use for designing flyers are photos. We actually encourage it as much as possible. Seeing, bright faces of Girl Scouts is always a great thing to see when you're promoting activities and events. One thing I do have to caution is that if you're going to use a photo of a Girl Scout, you have to ensure that you have the photo permissions to do so. Girls and their parents, when they're signing up their girls, they do mark whether or not their photo permissions or they're giving permissions to use photos. It's generally during their registration process. But at this time, I believe Troop Leaders also have I think it's called the annual parent permission form, which I believe that is on that as well. So Troop Leaders do know whether or not they have permission to use photos. So make sure that you have permission to use that if you're going to use a photo of girls. And then one piece I did want to mention before we dive into design, I do have on our website a press release or PR toolkit. And PR in marketing is slightly different. I'll just kind of do a brief summary of that. Marketing is to promote your event. It's more than just advertising, as Dawn had mentioned, but it's getting people talking about your event, catching their eye, getting the information out. Public relations, however, or the press release toolkit, is a little bit different, where you're promoting stories of Girl Scouting. So Dawn's showing you on the website, we do have a press release toolkit.
You want to see the resources one though, right?
And so where you would access the press release toolkit and the marketing toolkit is through the resources page. It's girlscoutsofmaine.org/resources. She's showing it to you now. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a marketing toolkit. And so you'll be able to download the marketing toolkit there, as well as you'll see there's a link to the press release toolkit as well. I will say that this marketing toolkit is a living document, and we will probably update it as we go. When we get questions or whatever, we may add it to there every time we get something new. But this is I think it's a good basis to start on in terms of where you can start with your marketing and promotion of your events. And again, we'll update it as we go if we find something new that we could share with you. But your resources page is where you're going to find the PR toolkit, the marketing toolkit, as well as many other resources that we have for you as volunteers. So I'm going to pass it over to Rebecca, and she's going to go over a little bit about some design tips and what you can do to make your flyer stand out. Rebecca.
Thank you, Courtney. Hello.
Gotcha.
One of the biggest things, and probably the hardest things to always remember, is if you want a successful flyer, you need to keep it simple. In today's world, people are on the run all the time, and they don't really pay attention to a lot of stuff. So you don't want to have too much text, and you don't want to have too much stuff going on, because it will then confuse the viewer. So the simpler, the better, which we'll then go into with colors. You would like have it very colorful, but don't have all of the colors in the rainbow on it, unless, of course, it's an event that is very colorful, rainbow-centered.
Of course, about rainbows.
Yeah, or unicorns, whatever. So you want to have a colorful palette, but you would take colors from a picture that you might have in there, and so that your colors are all cohesive. In the back of our marketing toolkit, we do have the GSUSA color palette, so that you can use some of those. You just type them in to your different Word documents or whatever program you're using to create your flyer. Also, something that will catch the eye of someone passing by is a really nice photo. And in order to have a nice photo, you have to, one, make sure that all the lines are clear. It's not stretched. It's a high resolution, which means 300 DPI. You don't want to pull anything off the internet because those are all very low resolution. And also, there's copyright issues with that, which I will talk about.
I'm going to interrupt just really quickly there. When she talks about the internet, that's not just the Google search. You know, if you want to search for a picture of girls on a swing, you know, that's Google search, and what Rebecca is referring to is that. But also off of Facebook. You cannot take pictures off of Facebook, one, without permission, as well as when pictures get uploaded to Facebook from phones and stuff, it's generally off low resolution, so it's not going to replicate as you would think it would, as it sees on, if you see it on screen, it's not necessarily going to print the same way. So Facebook photos,
But you can
Instagram,
ask people to send you the original.
absolutely. If you know the person, you can ask them to send the original. Assume, you know, make sure that all photo permissions have been given. Hopefully, if they're on Facebook, the permissions have been given, but you just want to be careful of those things as well.
Yes. It's all a very tricky area. So you just stay away from the internet. Just stay away from it.
Except to watch the Wednesday webinar.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
There are some very good websites that you can download very nice images from. Sometimes you can get them at a very good price. You also want to make sure that the photo is a good representation of your event, because where that is going to be what grabs someone's attention, it's obviously good to be about the event.
You mean the skateboarding one wouldn't be good for a tea party?
No,
Probably not.
I mean,
No.
unless the tea party was at a skate park.
At a skate park.
Yes.
Okay.
So then that would be fun.
Okay.
Then that kind of goes into clip art.
Wait, I made a slide.
Ooh, can't wait.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Okay, just a sec. I gotta pull my da 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 da. So we're wait, but clip art and fonts go a long way.
Oh, here we go.
Really, the worst ones have gone away.
Yes, yes. Clip art can be used sparingly. It's good to use to kind of bring attention to little things.
My fonts.
Yes. Oh, yes. The multiple fonts. Clip art, if it's a very good piece of clip art, if it's a high resolution, if it looks modern, then that could be used as the focus of your flyer. But overall, it's a bit dated, and so you want to use it just in small portions. And also, too, if you don't want too much, because then your flyer starts to look busy and the attention is taken away from the information. And really, the most important thing about your flyer is the information. One of the things we have attached an example. I did make this flyer in Word. So the number one most important text is going to be your header. So you want that to be your biggest and your boldest text at the very top. And usually, of course, right next to the picture, because you want these two things to grab people's attention. And then the second most important thing is the date, the time, and the location, because that might be as far as someone gets when they're looking at your flyer. So if they know the event, and they know the time, and they know the place, then at least they'll look more into it. And then after that, your smaller text would be the description of your event and your contact information. They do need some kind of contact information if they have questions. All of this is you want to keep them in their own separate places so that they don't get confused. And just really keep it simple. Keep it simple and easy to look at. You don't want, sometimes if there's too much to look at, it will automatically turn someone off and they won't even look at it. The last thing is just copyrights. We kind of already talked about this with the pictures.
Even with the clip art, though.
Even with the clip art, there are plenty of free clip art sites out there that are perfectly fine. They do have nice clip art on them. Really, all you have to do is Google free clip art, and you will get a ton of sites.
But again, I would caution in terms of do a little research and make sure your clip art sites are legit. Because not only copyrights are an issue, but also you could be in danger of downloading things like viruses
Don't do
and
that.
things that you don't want to do. So be careful when when you're looking at these things. Don't just grab it from anywhere, because you don't want to compromise your computer either. So just be really careful as when you're looking at those kinds of things.
Yeah. That was.
Did you want to say anything about the templates that people can find online?
Yeah, there are quite a few templates online. This is something I've just recently discovered, is that there are sites where they will have a template for a flyer, and you could just pretty much put your information into this flyer. They're all very nice looking flyers. Unfortunately, they're not the brand of Girl Scouts. Right. So they don't look really anything like something Girl Scouts would put out. So I would suggest to stay away from those, because the brand is everything. It has to look like something that's from Girl Scouts.
Well, and including the trefoil is a terrific way to ensure that. Using colors from the color palette, especially Girl Scout green, is a great way to ensure that. Using Arial until you can use anything closer, using Arial is a great way to ensure that. And what I like about this sample that Rebecca's created is that it's so it's where your eye goes. You know, your eye follows that line. And you talked about people being confused. For me, it's, I'm too busy. I'm not going to read that many words. And I love to read, but no. If I'm not invested, then I'm not going to invest in that many words. So I kind of love that the picture is half of the page.
Well, yeah, everybody is on the go. Everybody's busy. And
and we're hit with so much information all day, every day, that to spare time for something we don't know very much about, it's got to really give us something back. So I think that this format is a terrific format, especially right now.
It was all done in Word.
Which is crazy. That's awesome, because if it was done in Word, that means it can be done in Google Docs. That means it can be done.
Publisher.
Yeah. In fact, Publisher is pretty easy to manipulate if you've got it, but if you don't, obviously Microsoft Word does the job. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's important to know that you don't have to have some fancy, design programs to do this. You can pull off, like I said, a nice clean flyer just in Word. Anybody can do it. And, I'll just second and third that you want to make sure it's simple, clean, easy to read, and just hit the highlights. Keep it simple. Less is more. That's something I tell a lot of people. A lot of folks around here. Less is more, and the easier it is to read, the easier it is to understand. The more likely someone will join in and jump on board with your event.
And it's very easy to get excited, because I know all of these programs have different things that you can do, and it's like, oh, I want to put that in there. I want to put this. No. Step away.
But isn't that the thing? Because if you don't do this a lot, then it is very exciting when you make something that's like, oh, this is beautiful, and I could make it so much better. Better to make like 5 different ones and keep each of them a little clean and focused, rather than try to dump all of it into just one thing. Amanda commented that if you do a Google search for images, you can specifically put in the search images for reuse or images with modification.
It also can include sizes, I believe. If you want to see like a large
300
size of
DPI or something,
you can put that in as the function as well.
That's nice. There's some tricks with Google that are not immediately evident, but once you learn them, they expose you to a whole new level of stuff. So are there questions? Does anybody have any questions about the marketing toolkit or marketing for Courtney and Rebecca? Right?
You need like hold music or something.
I know. I should just have a little box. Nobody's typing any, but they all can talk. Where do we find it on GSME's website?
Easy peasy. girlscoutsofmaine.org/resources. Don's going to pull it up, I think.
Right up, yes.
And it's up there right now, actually. And as we update it, we'll
go back to the beginning so people can see the path. Click on adults. I don't know if they can hear me. Volunteers. resources, and then all the way down.
And then look at all the other resources you can see that you have. So that's where the marketing toolkit is. And as we update it, we'll upload more and more as we, and I'll probably eventually put a little date that says updated as of this time so that if you go back to it and you see, oh, it's a new date, it's a new version. So
Right.
we'll just constantly be updating it. And if you have questions or whatever, or you see like, oh, I'd like to know more about that, let us know and we can certainly add it as we go.
Okay, so this is something I just thought of, and it's fine if you don't have it yet. But is there, when I was a volunteer and we made flyers, we would put a little registration form on the bottom. Do we have a basic registration form that we could include somewhere, just as
well, I guess it's hard to know because each event may
if
need
people
something
are asking
different.
for different
Like
things?
if we're
Okay.
doing an event registration here, it's much more complicated because we need more
Well, no,
details.
I was even thinking
So I don't
service
even
unit level.
know.
Maybe
No, I
somebody
don't
out
think we
there
do.
has a service unit level registration that you'd be willing to share on the volunteer
Yeah.
swap, because not everybody has created those, but they are fairly standard. And so if we had a couple of options for people,
And we'd be
to
happy
play with.
if they want to send that in. We'd be happy to add it. So like samples from
Okay. Yeah.
Maple Valley Service, whatever. We can add that in there as we get them so that people can have them. Because it's not a bad idea to have that sort of idea of what it looks like.
Right. What people ask
for to start with, and each service unit might do it a little differently than the
Right.
other one, but it's always good to have an idea.
Yeah. I know the first one I made, I forgot things like the cost, where people would put their money amount.
That's all right. That happens.
Let's see if any other
questions?
we were working on. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other thoughts?
For those folks who are a program coordinator, is that the title? Program coordinator for the service unit volunteers. I am actually on your group, your Facebook group.
Oh, nice.
So if there are marketing specific questions, you can certainly throw them up there and tag my name or whatever, and I can certainly answer them. Kirsten is a part of that group as well, and she's the one who added me to it. So I'm happy to answer any questions via that Facebook because it's the specific group for the program coordinators. In addition to like the PR stuff, because I know that's the role of the program coordinators is PR and marketing and stuff for the service units. So I'm happy to help in that way. And I think I'll definitely be posting this up on that group as well so that they have that.
Okay.
But yeah, we want to make sure that your events and stuff that you're doing, the hard work that you're putting is getting the promotion that it needs. If we could, design flyers for every service units event, we would love to. Unfortunately, it's just us.
Well, and what's awesome is we don't need to, because this is a simple enough, straightforward enough experience that even people who don't have a lot of design experience can get their toe in the water and start playing with this, and who knows, careers could develop out of this.
And what's great about this is once they create it the first time, save it as a template and use it every time, so you can just dump in your text, dump in your picture, swap out the picture. It's once you set them up, it's good to go. It's easy.
Well, I'm including this in the CEO planning workshop tonight, which is the Camperies events and opportunities.
Perfect.
So we're just going to spread the word far and wide, because marketing is huge, and it's more than just advertising. This is what Girl Scouts is. So thanks. Let's see. It says, Rebecca and Courtney, can you stay a minute after the recording stops? Yes.
Sure. We would love to.
Absolutely.
And if there aren't any other questions, we will sign off and give you back a few minutes of your day. Thank you so much for logging in. Thanks, Courtney and Rebecca, for joining us and for creating this awesome marketing toolkit.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing awesome marketing about Girl Scouts all around the state. Thanks.